Steve, is in the context of COVID-19, where there's a lot of confusion, the feeling of frustration and anxiety, and so forth. And so it is really important that, especially the people who are, taking care of about, a team of say 50, 20, even a couple hundred of their teammates, colleagues. They've got this mandate to really help them feel that they're looked after, right? That they're well taken care of. That they are able to, feeling connected, and so forth. And so, how are we able to, as leaders, make a use of what you just shared, to really help people feel that, I know that things are, a lot of things are happening around, a lot of challenges, but how do I feel like that I want to go back and, start giving more, so that I can actually turn this reality around? How can you do that?
Well, a couple things. One, I always tell people when there's a crisis situation, crisis communication, don't fear the dragon in the room. Most of us, when we know there's a dragon in the room, we want to deny it, right? We want to act like it's not there. We can't do that. If there's a dragon in the room, the first thing you have to do is recognize it and be honest about it. There's a dragon in this room that could kill us. How are we going to deal with the dragon? And so the first thing is, don't fear crisis. Crisis happens, right? Whether it's COVID-19, whether it's, a family that can't pay their bills, everybody goes through crisis at some level. But the first step is address it. Again, recognize and admit there's a dragon in the room. Then you can begin to conquer it. Now, one of the ways, to your specific question on if I have colleagues that are concerned, we've done something in my companies, in my training, that I call values communication. If you start to wrap your communication paradigm, all of that, again, the paradigm is that the communication box is top of the head to the belly button, that the gesture box is the chin to the belly button, because we want hand gestures here, not in front of our face. But then use that a passion and emotion to trigger hands, face, and voice. But start to talk to people not in technical terms or in scary terms of, oh, it's a crisis. Talk to them about values. We need to do this because it's the right thing to do. We need to protect our children. We need to get back to what is honest in our life. We need the idea that there's about 50, I guess, words we've tested worldwide that we call them, for lack of a better term, aspirational words. They're essentially words that make you feel good. Yes. And even in crisis communication, too often in crisis communication, again, we reflect the crisis, and it makes people nervous. Oh, there's a terrible crisis and the world's coming to an end, and we project that kind of negativity, and that scares people. There's the great line, if you think of in American history, when Franklin Roosevelt, after the Pearl Harbor was bombed, and he went to the nation, he said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Right. He was comforting. He was saying, no, we're going to be okay. Use value communication in times of crisis, and you'll gain. People don't fear crisis as much. They fear that somehow they're in it alone. And let them know that they're not alone. Let them know that you're in this together, and you're going to conquer this together, and doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it, again, because you have these values of, we want the best for humanity. We want integrity and honesty. We want hope. We want opportunity. Those are again, aspirational words that not only do people connect to and like, but something very important. When you use those terms, people start to connect those terms with you. Right. So if I talk about, we're going to give you hope, we're going to, that we're going to come out of this, we're going to be hopeful. People start to assume, well, Steve is the hope guy. He's the guy that gives hope, just merely because I talk about, connect that value with me. So the best advice would be identify the crisis. Don't fear it. Admit it up front, and then try to address it collectively in an aspirational way.